we've got main tank player. We're looking at King's Row. You're starting on Reinhardt. You want to know what you can do different. And I heard a lot of we. So is this a scrim, or are you playing in a stack, or do you just mean we, you know, in terms of your pickup group here?
Oh, I was playing in the stack,
Okay.
but I say we because I'm used to saying we instead of myself. So
Okay,
that was my
that's
bad.
fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It was just an indicator to me that maybe this was a scrim, in which case I'd evaluate team decisions a little harder, if you follow what I'm saying. Okay, let's go ahead and share my screen. That's probably going to help for you actually to have any idea what I'm talking about. So tell me when you can see that.
I can see it.
Perfect, perfect. So you're setting up as Reinhardt here. You said you were playing in a stack. How big was your stack?
I think we were. I think this is a 5 stack.
5 stack. Okay, cool. So probably something similar on the other side, but we don't know that for sure. Okay, so we're playing here, and I see the first problem.
3, 2, 1.
Let's see where you go after this fire strike.
Defend objective A.
Okay, you're retreating to the proper position. Ooh.
Enemy contact.
Okay, so why don't you walk me through why this is the choke rather than this up here? I'll get to explaining stuff, but why don't you walk me through why you like this choke more than this one? You're correct. I just want to hear your thinking.
Okay, so if I was to play up there where the main gate is easier access for their team to destroy me. And with Reinhardt, I don't have much survivability, and plus I'm accounting for my Ana being so far in the back. So if I was playing so far in the front like that, it'd be
Hmm.
harder for her to heal me with everyone in the way. Zarya Bubble would get destroyed easily, and I was get
Sure.
deleted with Ana.
Sure, that's fine. So you're saying your Anna would still be back here even if you did that because she's worried about like a widow from up there, which then puts you out of
Yeah.
range. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going for there. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So we're here, and this was fine. I mean, I think you probably gave away your position. You creeped out there a little early, so your fire strike was, they potentially had an early window to see you if someone was up there and communicating, but that's minor. We're not worried about it. So let's see what you've got here. Don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Just clear the Discord. Nothing wild here so far. Don't go for that fire strike when you get discorded like that. I know we're getting pretty
Okay.
minor here, but let's go through this.
Enemy
Okay.
Fire strike here is great. This is okay. You really have to reach a bit for this, and it's probably not worth your reaching where all 6 of them can shoot you, and you don't care that he's shifting. Like, it's a little annoying, but you just don't care. And you don't want to re-peek while you have this Discord up. So we clear it once. And that's not too bad. There's not many of them that can see you as you throw that one. It's not a particularly high value fire strike. Max you're going to hit is this Roadhog. But as a general rule, you don't want to be exposing yourself really at all while you've got that Discord up. You're fulfilling your role as the tank, literally just by dragging the Discord orb on you. Discord is so powerful that if you can stop yourself from taking damage while it's on you, that means it's not on someone else, and that's not like amazing. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm carrying, I'm dragging the Discord orb. But you going out there and exposing yourself to take a little damage, to get right clicked by that hog, etc. That's not the trade you want to be doing. Just happily let it go. Okay, fine. I'll just eat this Discord and my shield will be up, or I'll be behind cover until it's gone.
Okay.
Okay, and now they're in the place. They're finally pushing up to the place where you're actually sort of interested in taking this fight. We'll let them push up a little more. Clear this Discord. Beautiful. Yeah, so far so good. And so that's unfortunate. You've mostly been playing this correct. So I get that you're concerned about, oh, hey, we're giving up first point too easily, but that's mostly not a you thing that's going on here. You don't want to push into fight here. You want to be fighting them here, and you didn't have an earlier opportunity than really when you went in to fight them here. So this is mostly your team not paying enough respect to them, not really playing on the right side here, if you follow what I'm saying.
Okay.
Good. So now though you're probably just in a swing out type thing. Like you can stall this out a little, but you only have 100 shield left, so backing off really doesn't make sense here. This is probably a just continually swing into hog. You're not going to stall this more than an extra second, and you're sort of doing this backup thing. And this backup thing with 100 shield, your shield's not going to get you out, and your shield plus your health isn't going to get you out either. You see what I'm saying? So at this point, you're better off just swinging into either this Genji or this hog.
To get the ult charge, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And you do, but you were just like half a step late. You kind of took two steps back before you started to do that.
Okay. So any situation like that, I should just go for my ult charge and die quickly so it can reset faster.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get an elimination like the Genji there, that's better because obviously they won't get that ult charge back by healing him. So if you can get that, that's better. But that's one of those situations where you're going, we're not in this, and me extending it by 1 second isn't really valuable. It's better that you're in there and you can get some swings as opposed to, oh, well, I stalled it 1 additional second trying to get cover where I did get there and I got healed 50 HP and then I went out and fought with 200 HP and no shield. Like, it's not going to work.
Okay.
Objective lost. Stop the pain. Eyes on the battle.
Play the corner, good. Okay. Unfortunate. Not like end of the world unfortunate there, but let's take one more look.
Objective lost. Eyes on the battle. The pain.
Could use the bubble, even though we gave it a touch early. And you're going for the shatter, and it really is a case of he's back down right in time there. Yeah, we can live with that. So, talk to me about how you handle hogs. What's your thought of taking damage versus using shield? When do you take damage and when do you shield?
Okay, so usually, if I'm let's say if I'm like full health and full shield, I usually try to balance between the two so that my shield doesn't get shattered, but I don't die at the same time and allow my Ana to heal me in between each.
Okay. Try to let it push you before you take some on your shield, though. So what you want to do is you don't immediately want to flash shield because you take a lot more damage if you're here than you do if you're here, right? So your shield is going to take a lot more damage if you're here, and when you let down your shield, you're still going to take that same amount of damage whether you take it now, immediately, or whether you take it down after your shield has taken a bunch of damage. So what it tends to be is I want to get hit by sort of one burst, and then I want to shield, and then if I have to, I can get hit by one more burst and shield again. But you want to get hit by what we'll call the first burst, even though it's not really burst. You want the first knockback to hit you so that you get a lot more shield. So your shield can last a lot longer if you take the first health in your face effectively, and you're going to take some in your face regardless, but you'll end up taking less if you take the first bit like that.
Okay.
Just leave. Yeah, whole team has to leave. Yeah, just leave. I'd actually back out further. Like, there's no reason that they can't push out with 5 and have one person push cart and spawn camp you right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not doing it, but there's no reason that they can't come around this corner with 5 other than the fact that your Genji is probably going to give you an early warning and just take you, and you'd be like, oh shit, we're in a 5v3, and where are you going to go? Your best exit is there, and then you have to walk across there, etc. So this is the case when you just lost these two, really you're going to have to go all the way back to spawn. Your team probably won't, but at least go back to like here so that you can't get further staggered.
Gotcha.
Are you grouped with your Zarya?
I think so because she put bubble on me, so I assume she was behind me.
No, when I mean grouped, I mean is that part of your stack? Is that someone you regularly play with?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so your Zarya, this is a couple times now that your Zarya is bubbling you as soon as you break the plane of the choke. So you see what I'm saying? Where she bubbled you like right here, you can actually see the bubble fading. Where she bubbled you like, or no, that was probably the sonic arrow. But she bubbled you like as you rounded this corner. You follow what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You don't
Yeah.
really want that because your shield is perfectly good to get you from here to the enemy. Your personal barrier is perfectly good to get you from here to the enemy or from here to the enemy, etc. You want that bubble when you're already swinging or at least when you're in range to be swinging at the enemy. And there's two ways you can get that. You can really communicate with your Zarya, which you're going to have to because your Zarya is consistently giving it too early, or you can mentally track your own Zarya's cooldown, your own Zarya's team bubble, and regularly give her good bubble options when her cooldown comes up. Do you sort of understand what I'm saying by that?
Yeah.
Like you're going,
I understand.
I know the length of her cooldown, so I know she's at 2 seconds out, 1 second out from her cooldown, so now I'm going to start to push, and what do you know? I'm at the range that she can't help but give me a good bubble that I can swing during. So,
Okay.
bubble doesn't really help you here because you have your own barrier that you can use to approach the enemy. Bubble does help you while you're swinging because you can't barrier and swing at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, you're mostly just screwed here. Yeah. Not a ton you could have done there, but let's take one more look.
I see how
What?
she like bubbled me too early.
Yeah, so she does that. When she does do that, you might as well fire strike because hey, this is an animation that I might as well take advantage of because you won't always be grouped with your Zarya. So if you notice, oh, I'm bubbled and I don't really want to be, guess it's time to use fire strike is kind of your next best option, but that's not when you want your bubbles. And I'm going to
Okay.
slow this down a bit just so that we can see. I don't think you can go back there. Yeah, you're way too far forward for that to work. Your team didn't round the corner with you. Let's actually watch when you pushed that.
Hello. Greetings.
I pushed way too early.
No, you pushed because your Ashe rallied, and that's correct. Like, your
Okay.
Ashe rallied too early, but your push is actually right because you don't want to waste her ult. This is a good thing to push off of, but you should be shielding here. There's no reason for you to be not shielding here. Just walk with the shield up, let the armor heal you, etc.
Okay.
And this you just have to push into. Like, you're right to keep your shield up because you're discorded, but just keep pushing into, and hard keep your shield up until this dragon is gone. You'll probably lose your shield, but that's all you can do. Walk past the
Okay.
dragon, keep your shield up until the dragon's gone. And he walked through your shield to do that. Okay, that's fine. How many people do they have up and alive and fighting?
To my understanding, two.
Okay. And how many do you have?
Two. Well, me coming
Great.
back.
So you're going to be 3. So this is a fine re-entry. Yep. Stay on him. Good job. Okay. Go clear the Discord. Yep. Oh, those bubbles, man. You were going to struggle to get value as Reinhardt with those bubbles. Like, you got to
Oh.
talk to your teammate as soon as you can. It's fine. Like, it's fine. You're sometimes going to get bad bubbles, but this is the sort of thing where you and your tanks are, like, close buddies when it comes to how you play together, and he's getting okay, not great energy off of those, and you're getting no offensive value. You don't break this corner. So you still needed to clear this Discord, and you were back here doing it, and then you went, no, I want to push, etc. And you can't
Oh, okay. I
do
see.
that. And that bubble was actually kind of good because you were almost feeding with a Discord. But I don't think that's why you got the bubble. I think you got the bubble because that's when he's been bubbling you as soon as you break the plane. When again, you need it 2 steps later, but you shouldn't break the plane on this in the first place. You should just hold
Okay.
the corner like this and go, nope. our hog will be forced out by our Zarya and Genji, and me, I'll just hold this corner and say, if you guys try to walk past it, I'll swing into it. You don't need to break it to swing at this hog like you did. If the hog's swinging at you, if the hog's shooting at you from here, that means your Genji and Zarya can hit him. So you'll just let them and you'll go, I'll shield if I have to. I'm fine.
Okay.
Same thing. Now it's not too deep because you have a bubble and a nano, so you're going to use them. But this generally would be too deep because you create a situation where all of them can shoot, all of them can see you, and your team can't see them. So they all have a good target to shoot at, but only two of you and Genji, are able to shoot at them. And you've got some help from like your Briggs and your Ana here, but you've got like a 3v6, we'll say, which that's not a situation you want.
Okay.
Again, though, you have the nano and the bubble, so you're going to do this anyways, which I don't disagree with. Good, Chatter. So you shattered while you were up one there, and you shattered in a fight that you'd already invested ults into, but that was worth to try and clean that up.
Okay. But in hindsight, I shouldn't do that.
No. I actually think that was worth to clean it up, because that chatter was one where you believed that off that chatter. Here, we can rewatch it. Oh, did it? Okay, so we have to do one more rewind. We tried.
Okay.
Slow this down. Okay, so you're up one at this point, and this fight probably feels like it could go either way. You're still winning, but you're not wildly winning, if you follow what I'm saying. And you're up one, but your Ashe is weak. There's Genji's weak. Like, this isn't necessarily bad, and he looks like he's locked into this, right? So you're thinking, hey, he's locked into his shift. I can get at least a 2, probably a 3-person shatter, and that's probably going to be worth, because it leaves you in a situation where you go, my team will get some ult charge back from this, and if I don't, we probably get the Genji, and that's it. If I shatter, we probably get 3. If I don't shatter, we just get the Genji, and the Genji's not worth much to us. Their push is broken regardless, but getting these 3 eliminations should feed your team back enough ult charge to sort of be with it. Like, your Genji, you'll get Blade, you'll get some more ult charge on these guys by cleaning up this fight. So, like, I wouldn't shatter just the Genji here. I wouldn't shatter just the this guy here, and I wouldn't shatter if these guys were further out and, had done a better job of retreating. But since they're here, you're in a situation where you'll get a fair amount of the ult charge you're going to invest back. Does that sort of make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Cool. And you'll get some later eliminations. So you already got the Hog Elim, but these elims will come 3 to 4 seconds later, which further sets them back on their attack push.
Okay.
Now, that's a really weird deploy. Like, it got deployed, but it didn't. So interesting. And you see this, you do clean up that fight pretty well. I'd have liked you to try and go deeper for one more, and I don't think you need to be backing up like this. Like, you guys didn't lose anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can fight here. It's totally fine with me if you fight here. It's also fine with me if you go, no, we're good to hold this. This can be our choke again, right? This can be our choke where we've got the high ground control. We can threaten from this flank with our Genji. You don't have to go back here. Back here, they've got more map control. They can come in through here and attack you from above. They get control of, this hotel thing, get to go from here. They've got Mega. You don't need to surrender this much of the map. And the cart isn't really in a place where you not looking at it for 1 second means they can back cap you, right?
Okay. Yeah,
and they don't have like a Sombra or someone to go get it. The closest thing is a Genji, and he could backcap you, but he's not like a Tracer or a Sombra or a Ball who you're really worried about doing that. So
okay.
I'd take the better map control personally. Let me rephrase that. Taking the better map control is correct. Which maybe you can do. Okay.
I think the reason why I backed there is because Genji dashed back up, so I thought he was going to go kill our Ashe for it.
Okay. So how can you get back into this fight? What's your win condition? You're down 1.
Our win conditions either grab blade, maybe a bob, but I think grab or a blade is
Well,
the
it
only
can't
two.
be Blade anymore because you lost your
Oh,
Genji
he
and you
died.
don't have
Okay.
a Mercy to get back in, and you're down 1, which is why I ask. So if you're really on top of it as a 5 stack, you go play for grab, and you'd be doing okay, we need to take this slow. We need to not let them get a clean in to start on us, so you'd try to slow this fight down. And this is okay, but slowing this fight down means things like holding this corner, like you are having Zarya hold his corner, all that good stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, and there's the grab, and hopefully you've still got bubble. So, since you knew you were playing for grab, sorry, I didn't mean to be exasperated there. That was actually just a regular sigh. Good sleep. You know you're playing for grab. I'd have preferred you not be swinging quite this heavily. I was okay with you swinging when you're driving back just the Genji here, but once you have other people looking at you, you want to be preserving a bit of health, because to actually win during your grab, Zarya bubbling you is probably how we're actually going to win during grab. So I'd have preferred that you be a little more aware of that, be already approaching them with their shield here.
Okay.
And you're backing up. You see, you took 2 steps back there, then you did 1 step to the side, 2 steps to the side, now a fire strike, and now a charge. And
Yeah, for sure. This was hesitation there.
right. So if you're like, I know we're playing for grab, I know I've only got half health, but I'm going to work with it, and you go, I'm going to get to where I'm standing now, I'm going to push up with my shield, and he's going to bubble me as I swing. 2 swings into this, 3 swings into this, which is what you'd get before you'd go down, is definitely worth more than a fire strike plus a charge where you can't really pick your target, right? Because if you look at the targets in here, like if you get the Genji, okay, that's kind of cool, but if you get the Sigma, he survives. If you get the Hog, who you're most to get just based on bulk, he survives. So like triple swinging, double swinging into this is definitely better. And you have the bubble, or you're about to see that you get the bubble. So you know the bubble was available that would have let you do that.
Okay.
And sure enough, you connect on the Hog here, or I think it's the Hog you connect on, and that's not really worth much. But you do end up getting the Hog, so hey. Poor guy. Taken down by an anadart in the butt. Okay, so this is over. So you're not playing for second anymore. Let him heal you back up. You actually probably want to get lifted in that situation. You see how your supports are back here? Your supports are now back here where you can't protect them. If you're here, his backline can't shoot at your supports. Now, this time they can't anyways, but as Reinhardt, if you have the health to do it, you're happy to go, oh, you're lifting my backline? I don't think so. You're lifting me too, and I'm going to be a shield in the way. And then he has to like go, okay, well, I'll fly in, and then your Briggs just goes, oh, you're going to get close to me? And she bashes and stuns him. Or your McCree goes, well, I'll just stun you. Or your Hog goes, I'll hook you. You want to make him fly in past you, sort of, and you want to be protecting your team from the spam that comes. Now, it depends on your health. If you've got like 50 health, obviously don't get lifted. But if you've got 400, 350 health, get lifted and just go, no, my shield will be here. We're good.
Got you. So sometimes it's just worth it to get lifted so you protect your team.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you make it much more annoying for them if you're like, here, my shield's in the way. You did. Or are they gonna forget about you? Walk back into spawn. Good. Don't waste the time having her heal you. You should actually go back into... Okay, now you have to push. Shit, that's regular. Oh, sorry. So I was just saying you don't have to because that's regular. But that's okay. So if that had been a Nano Blade, totally slam it. I think your team is probably fine here for this regular blade, though. Like
Okay.
I could be wrong, but you have rally going already. You have a Briggs back here. Like I think even without this, you're not too worried about this guy. You have a sleep dart available. Like you should be okay against a regular blade. I'm not saying you won't lose to anyone, but it's not like shattering a blade in Genji is a 100% thing in the first place because, you know, they're pretty mobile, they dash around, etc. So like if it's nanoblading, go for it. If it's not, generally don't unless you're going to get something else too.
Okay.
Get back in.
So I'm not sure you need to back off as hard and far as you are here. It depends if your team wants to take this fight, and your team should be perfectly fine taking this fight. Like, I get it, you're taking some damage, so you're backing off, but if you're taking damage while standing here from a Sigma and a Genji, that's okay. You can just sort of
Okay.
continue to hold the shield up and let your 6 people shoot at them, right? Like, this is sort of the inverse of the situation we were talking about before, right? Where now they are 2v6ing. So there's no need
Mhm.
for you to back off here. This is too passive. You just go, no, I'm going to stay here. And if they bring more people around so that they've got like 6 people that can see you, yeah, sure, you can go up and swing. Or if they come forward, you can swing at them. And you can even take half a step forward to swing as long as you then come back and shield, etc. But you don't need to push into this because then 6 of them can see you, but you don't need to be backing off like you are either necessarily. Like you can just sort of
Okay.
go, no, this is my space and my team is here, so this is the fight we're going to take. Like if you have to, yeah, you could slide over to here and do that and then have different cover, but I think you just stay here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of backing away, and there's no reason to back up past this cart. Like this cart, I get he's nanoed, so there's a little reason to back away. I withdraw that. But you are in these situations where it's like, you can stand here where, you know, okay, you back up a little, but you want to, once his nano's over, be able to push back up and swing into him and have this cart as your wall against the rest of his team. Whereas you're doing a lot of
Okay.
like, I'm afraid of the fight, I'm backing away type stuff so my team can continue to poke. And you're not there as Reinhardt to enable your team necessarily. If you remember Goats, I don't know how much attention you were paying during that. It was
Mhm.
pretty normal for Reinhardts to end up with gold damage and things like that. And that's because Reinhardt is one of those heroes that actually gets incredibly oppressive the more resources you can pour into him. Oh, you can protect him with defense matrix, you can throw armor packs at him, you have bubbles for him. He starts doing a lot of work and becomes a big damage source. Now, more often Zarya got the metal, but Reinhardt's getting, you know, doing the most damage for a team, and medals don't matter, but I'm just pointing that out as emphasis that, hey, Reinhardt can do some work. So you're not there as like, oh, I'm a shield for your team. You're there to go, I would like to swing at things, but if I can have my way, I would like to swing at things when, you know, I can swing at them, maybe they can swing back, but their team can't shoot at me. So like, I would like to swing at you from here. Or when you're here, I will stay here and happily swing at you. And if your backline is going to rotate in so that they have access to me, now your backline is close to me and I can take 2 steps forward and swing at your vulnerable, squishy backline. And isn't that great? So like, they don't want to rotate here while you're standing right here. But when you back up, you're kind of giving them safety to rotate in. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Okay, cool. If you were really elite, your team wouldn't be backing off from that Transcendence. You'd be slipping your shield between the Transcendence and the Reinhardt, and your Zarya would melt the Reinhardt. But you guys aren't that elite. That's okay. I'm not actually asking you to do that. It's a thing you can do, but that's an organized play special. Let the Discord clear. Okay. Good zoning. Swing. Yep. Okay. you're going to stay Rein because you want to come back with Shatter, but your team is not going to be able to stall long enough. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I think we've probably found what's your biggest habit, which is you're a little retreat happy. But we'll take a look.
To 3.
Okay.
Switching sides. Initiating match. Ready for battle.
So nine times out of 10, I should be holding my ground instead of backing up.
1.
It depends a little bit on the compositions. Like if you are running a comp where you have Zen, Bap, Ashe, McCree, and they are Reinhardt, Zarya, Reaper, Lucio, Moira, no, you should probably back up. But in more
Okay.
balanced comps, you put them in situations where like they had a Hanzo, for example, and their Hanzo and Ana have to sort of put themselves on a line where you could, swing into the Reinhardt. You could potentially push past their Reinhardt and swing at their Ana in 3 steps, though, and she really wouldn't like that. So that makes her more uncomfortable. So you don't want to just be doing this like, I'm here and I'm going to back up because I want to keep shielding my team thing. No, you don't generally want to be doing that unless your poke is massively better than theirs. And if it is, why are you playing Reinhardt rather than Orisa?
Got you. Okay.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Is your team with you? No.
Mm.
They should be by now. That's fine. You clear this. Just back out. You can't res it. Okay, that's fine. I mean, you can do a bubble rotation with your Zarya here. You can coordinate, cover my Fire Strike, and then she'll go out and get energy for her own personal bubble, and you can go like that. But you don't really want to hold this space because they're going to get a surround on you. You'll push back in once you have 6. Okay, you're in it. 5v5. It's fine, just clear the Discord. And now you push up. You're hopping back with a bubble there, and that's expensive. I don't think you actually want to use that bubble to retreat. I think you want to be using that to swing.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to make a decision. Are you actually trying to reset here? Like, are you trying to hold this space? Are you trying to push in and take the fight? Or are you trying to reset? Because, like, you were in this space for a long time, and Reinhardt's not good at being in space for a long time. His barrier isn't really good for that. He can't enforce his space. He can take space and then swing and try and win the fight with his hammer, or he can go, no, I'm out, let's get back to cover, etc. And you can do a little bit of this is our space, but it feels like you guys are getting pushed and you're sort of slowly trying to work your way back rather than decisively making a decision of we're in or we're out. And, this can be a holding ground if they're not pushing you, but you don't want to. You spent a lot of time here, and it was really unclear to me what you were trying to do. Let's rewatch it and see if you see what I'm saying.
So sometimes I try to push in with the team, but unexpectedly, because we have the Ashe on the left side, there's not much I can do about that.
Yep.
Our team gets picked. So then now I'm thinking, oh, I should back up now because we lost a person.
That's fine. If you go, hey, the situation on the ground has changed, it's time to leave, that's fine. But let's watch this.
Okay.
So here, you go, our Genji's almost back, then I'll push up to join Zarya. I have to push up to join Zarya now because the situation has changed. So you push up and you swing and you lose Zarya, but you immediately get Torb in exchange. Totally fine with me if you hard shield and back up to here just because your team is back here and they haven't rotated up yet, right? Like, that's totally fine with me.
Okay.
You're pushing forward, which I think was the wrong decision in this case. I think letting your team catch up half a step would have been better. And you do that from behind cover. You don't just wait. You do that from behind cover. Then what happens is you push here. You want this fight. You go down another one. I don't know that you realize that, though. And you go, okay, I'm going to fight here. Okay. And now I think you probably realize it and are going, hey, we're in a bit more trouble here. We also lost our Zen. I think now you realize that the situation isn't so great. And you're sort of doing this, I'm going to play this corner type thing. And you don't really just want to stay here because, you know, you're going, I'm going to play this corner, but they've got a Zen and a Sigma with a better angle on you. And you're sort of like, I'm just going to stay here. And let's watch
Okay.
how long you stay here. We're at 10:14. Now, you've lost your Ashe now. You're still here. You're still here. Okay, now you decide, okay, I'm actually... Well, now it's 10:28, so that's 14 seconds of like, we're sort of in, we're sort of out. Reinhardt is really painful to play when your team will start trusting you less, and your team will actually start going in with you less when you do this. I'm gonna float in the middle type thing. Ryan is much more decisive in, I'm here, I go from here to here, or I go from here to here, wait 3 seconds to get shield back, then I go from here to here, and then we push in as a group type thing. Or you go, okay, go from here to here, now I go from here to here, shoot, we went down 2, I'm out, hard shield back out, etc. The hang in the middle thing is going to feel awful, and it's going to make your team trust you less. And
Got you. Okay.
therefore, future pushes will be like, well, is he really going in this time, or is he like going up to trade a swing or something? And going up to trade a swing is fine, but you coordinate that with your Zarya specifically to go, I'm going to go up, I'm going to double bubble swing, and then I'm going to leave. And that's fine, but that's poke. That's not a real push.
Okay.
It is okay if you do an energy cycle with your Zarya where she does that bubble right as you break the plane, specifically to Fire Strike. Now it's too late because everyone's here, but while you're waiting on people to respawn, that is an okay thing. Nice. Swing. Yeah. Now, obviously you had a nano that helped there, and you did take a little bit of detour, but you see how that probably felt more decisive? And it wasn't just the ults that made that feel more decisive. And I don't mean in terms of your win, I mean in terms of your push. Does that
make sense.
feel true? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the health for that charge, you just needed to, but you had plenty of barrier, so you just needed to rotate here and hard barrier that Bob. Because that Bob was actually on the same angle as their team and wasn't a fantastic Bob. You can just go shield, rotate, and then your team takes it down while you hard shield it. Because you had like 100 health.
The best you can do.
Are we still going in or no? Okay, so you can't even hold this space. This is like your space, quote unquote. This is their space, quote unquote. And this is sort of neutral space that you have to take to push in. You've just lost 2 people. So can you really hold this neutral space?
No.
Right, so it's just time to leave. And space isn't that permanent in terms of like, oh, it's their space, it's our space, you can flip the map, you can take space, etc., but you can't hold that space when you're down.
Okay.
Really the only space that is truly yours is your spawn room, but... Your shield? Yeah, so your Zen didn't have to pop trans there because you were actually blocking enough to make that work. Kind of just ult bonanza. Okay, we've got one more good push. S6, you have Shatter. You're gonna get grab. You're gonna get nano. It's gonna be great. This should be the take. This is the take. Those bubbles just hurt my soul. So again, you're just kind of like here, and I think you're here almost like waiting for your DPS to do something or maybe to get a pick or something. I don't know exactly why you're hanging out here. And I know I'm belaboring this, but I'm just kind of hitting the point so that it really sticks with you, where it's like this isn't really a thing. Like, this is kind of nice in terms of holding the corner if they had to push into you, but they don't have to push into you. You're the one who has to take the point from them, right? So like holding this corner is like, well, okay, we'll just chill. Unless they're worried about your team taking flanks, which your team is going to do, but you want to be a little more, okay, I'm going to do it, not I'm going to exist here. Because just existing here is slowly costing you health, and you're pretty consistently not having enough health when you get to engages because you're doing a lot of this hanging out to no man's land thing and barrier. And you don't care if you spend... Go ahead.
I think the reason why I hang out here too much is because I know Zarya bulls me early, so then now I'm over here just waiting for her to get her bubble back. But I know 8 seconds is actually too long to wait for that, so I have to make a decision, either back off with the bubble.
If she
or
gives
just
you a
trade.
bad bubble, I'd honestly just, convert it to a fire strike bubble and then go right behind cover and go, okay, we're pushing 8 seconds later. Like, it would literally be that. And if you're not in comms with her, it would be, okay, we're pushing 6 seconds later because she'll have bubble when I actually get to the enemy and want to swing. That's how I manage Zarya's like this.
Okay.
But that makes sense. Like, it's downstream from that. That Nana was attacking earlier, but that bubble was perfect. Good. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it because you're, again, sort of doing this, like, I'm here, I'm not close enough to swing at you, but I'm here in the middle with shield. And now you've backed up to here, which I prefer, because you can just tuck back here and just not even waste your shield, not even waste your health, etc. Like, this is better, if you actually use it.
Yeah, I'm being very indecisive.
Yeah.
Escort the payload.
You can hold this corner, though. That's great. You can hold this corner. I don't think your team's ready for you to hold that corner, but this corner they should be ready for. So, I get it. You feel like your team's not here, but you go, I'm holding this corner, and then when they get here, you're like, no, I think I'll back up, etc. You're not actually taxing them on the corner. That's right in this case, potentially, but your team was relatively here. Like, your Ana's not here, but you've got a Doomfist, you've got a Zarya, you've got a Mercy. Like, you potentially could have held this corner, and you're sort of exposing your Ashe by not holding this corner, because your Ashe was expecting you to hold this corner where she can peek and then have access to the backline. They're going to have a much easier time evicting your Ashe and potentially eliminating her because you retreat back to this corner when she expected you to hold this one. Does that track? Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And will you hold this corner? Yeah, see, they're pushing her. So yeah, we see exactly how that played out.
Get in there, and I will use it. Eyes on the bad guys. Heroes never die. You're all done. Get in there. 60 seconds.
Interesting that you got the bubble whenever it looks like that, but hey. So you're not blocking that Bob. you can potentially rotate up here and swing at this Reinhardt, and no one is going to punish you for swinging at this Reinhardt, right? Like, you can't necessarily see this, but the Zen is looking at something else, and even if it wasn't, there's a cart between you and the Zen while you swing at the Reinhardt. So I don't like quite how passive you've gotten here. Remember, you have a Valk going, you had a Nano, like, your team is giving you all the stuff in the world to be pretty aggressive, and you've been
I'm
pretty...
just wasting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Now, if you're doing this to block the Bob, that I can potentially live with you being a little more passive. Go, fine, I'll just shield while we deal with the Bob. But that wasn't what you were doing. You were over here.
Okay.
There's a good bubble. It's fine. And now you can try and hit a pin to the left here. Nope. Good. You're here again. As soon as you get back up over that armor, as long as you're not discorded, you can potentially take a swing again like you did there. So you can swing at him from here. Yep. Why are you swinging into the cart rather than going here to swing or looking for an Earthshatter? Like, this is...
I think because I'm low, so I hesitated to not even go in, or I'll read it.
I get it. The problem is I don't think your team is likely to get a better opportunity than this type thing.
So just go all in and go for it, even if
it's a reading the situation thing. Like, this is not a full 100% the answer is to suicide into a grav, because it's into getting value out of your grav, because it's not. It's just, I don't think you're going to have another better shot than this, really.
Okay.
And that depends a bit on ult economies. But are you likely to get good shatters against this team?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
I think so. Well, actually, no, because they have double shield.
Yeah,
so
they have Ryan and Sigma.
Harder.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't count on good shatters against this team. And then they don't have any ults coming up greatly soon. So, they've got Torbolt coming up, and they could potentially win with that, but that's not a super easy win with. And if we look at you guys, the only thing you've got... No, Valk's coming back up, but your other thing is Bob. You're probably not winning the point with Bob. Bob's a fine ult, but you're probably not winning the point just off the back of Bob. And you see you've fallen a little behind on health in general. You don't necessarily have all this information, but you're a little lower on resources than they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I look at this and kind of go, this grab's probably the moment. Now, I could be wrong. You could say, no, the grab's garbage. We're going to play for Valk, in which case you just have to make sure everyone survives till Valk, and then you win with Valk. That's fine too. But make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you've made a competent decision in terms of, I'm not feeding into this grab that's either win or lose. I'm instead betting on the Valk. Yeah, that was about what we expected. I'm surprised you got one even.
Heroes never die. I will lead us to victory.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay, so the good news is you got it. The bad news is you emptied your ult bank to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You back up from this corner, I'm going to be annoyed. Ooh, he's purple. Swing, he's purple. Oh, they were purple. You were bubbled. You were naded. Like, it hurts. Your team's right here. Do we have high ground control? You haven't checked. Okay, we do. It's fine. If he's just going to stand there and let you bully him, great.
You're powered out. Get in there. We're leaving to witness.
It's fine. Oh boy.
30 seconds.
No. I know you've only got 300 barrier, but I don't like the charge here. If you're
Okay.
purple like this, you're purple, you basically don't have armor, I'd probably just say, well, we're going to use our 300 barrier of health, rather than go for that charge.
Enemy turret down.
Into the iris.
10 seconds.
Good touch card. You do get overtime good. Good. Okay, so you were trying to catch the ball with your charge. Okay, that's fine.
Let's keep it moving.
You do know that when you're swinging your hammer, you can drag it. So your hammer actually hits them when it hits them in the arc of your swing. So if your first swing is from the right, you can drag your screen left to hit them earlier with your hammer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure, because I'm not seeing a ton of that here, and it doesn't always matter, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Every little thing matters.
Yep.
Try me.
So nothing too wild in that last fight. Let's go a little bit further here. And this means we get another first point defense, which will be good. But first we get to, go finish the map again. You're going to finish the map with 1 minute. I believe in you.
أهلا ازيك
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Come out
Take a
and
deep
face
breath.
me.
Now let's achieve our objectives.
Okay, so you can do this fire strike first. And now I just pretty much always do a quick 180 to see, did my team actually keep up with me, etc. Can I push?
Okay.
Enemy turret down.
And they did, so you can push. So you can rotate right if you want to make the ash less valuable. Okay, that's not what you did. Shield, shield, shield. Yep. Okay. So that's mostly a case of your team is getting out muscles, but you played that better than you played the previous push.
Still need me.
Unfortunate. Some of that is Uranus really not paying enough attention to you, and you're not getting the greatest bubbles, which isn't to say that there's nothing you can't do better. There's been plenty you could do better this match, but this is getting a little rough. Swing shatter. Oh.
Shatter in time.
Well, yeah, but you didn't get shatter in time. I mean, you'd have died during your shatter if you tried, but it's sort of you're gonna die pretty much regardless. So just get your shatter as fast as you possibly can, type thing. Anyway, it's all good, all good.
Ready for battle.
Like your chances of it working weren't getting better over time. They were getting worse because Ryan will swing at you through your shield.
How y'all doing?
5,
I don't like that you're peeking this quite so early. If you're going to go for this fire strike, you want to basically be here until the amount of time it takes you to get here, which is, between, really between 3 and 2, closer to 3, you creep out to get here to throw your fire strike, because you're
Okay.
giving the guy up there more time to see you and tell his team, Reinhardt, fire strike.
3, 2,
I
1.
see.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Hold fast.
from afar.
Sebastian, don't shield that. Just don't bother. Okay. You can totally push up and get this. It's a little scary with the Hanzo there, but you totally can push up and continue to fight this. They're pulling back. They're down more people than you are. You can continue to fish into this for staggers, assuming your team is remotely on board, and hint they are.
Okay.
Unfortunate. That would have been big. Good. Now go take your corner back. Okay, that's fine too.
Surrender to my will.
Perfect. Let's re-see your target choice though.
Surrender to my will.
30 seconds.
So you hit the shadow, which is good. He's got the window going. He just got nanoed. He wants to swing. That's the right way to do it. And I'm pretty sure you got Hanzo back there. But they're pretty far back. Okay, that's fair. Did you not have Firestrike available? You did. Okay. So usually, what's your usual combination to get people who are down? What's the max damage combo into a shatter?
The max damage combo to a shatter is you shatter, you swing, crouch, fire strike.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just a little surprised that we didn't, get our Fire Strike into our Ponzo or our Moira here, etc. Because, this is being supported, etc. Remember, this guy has damage reduction. He has armor and he has nano. So, like, I get it. But he has these things, so it's like, okay, you can't get to these guys, but what you'd probably want to do is you'd go, okay, I'm going to swing into this Reinhardt, and then I'm still going to Fire Strike in such a way that I get the Reinhardt and one of these guys, either the Hanzo who's low health, or this guy who, oh, what do you know, my Moira was trying to finish with Convalescence.
Okay.
Or you go, I want to take this guy for a ride and drain more of his shatter. So in that case, it would be swing charge, and you try and charge him into, this guy, etc., and get a little bit more there, etc. I was surprised to not really see either of those here. She won't get it, yeah. This is probably a ball swap. You don't have a chance, but this is probably a ball swap. Okay. So the biggest thing that we're seeing overall is a decisiveness thing where you're getting caught in the no man's land. You're better at it than most players. Most players who are struggling with the Reinhardt trap. I'm going to call it the Reinhardt trap. Why not? Let me just get any time where I can see the map so I can show you what I'm talking about. I don't actually care what's going on the map. Okay, cool. Most players who fall into the Reinhardt trap get in a situation where they go, I'm here, I'm my team's shield, and now I'm just going to sort of walk back and forth as my team pokes. Or I'm in the choke and I'm going to walk back and forth. And you've leveled up. You're past that. That's not something you suffer from. Instead, you're like, I understand corners. Corners are great. If I'm on a corner and they push into me, I can swing into them. Like, corners are fantastic, and it's hard cover, etc. And that is a higher level of Reinhardt, but you're not actually really taking full advantage of the corner, and that you're going, like, if the enemy pushes into you, well, I better back up. Like, there's a lot of the enemy push. Actually, the better example of this, because, this will be painful recent memories. Oh, the enemy's actually here. I don't like it. I don't like that the enemy's here. Wait, no. The whole point of this corner was that we could swing into them and be protected. And if they swing wide with poke DPS, I don't care because I've got my own DPS behind me that are shooting at them. So I'll just go, yeah, okay, I'll put my shield up and my DPS will swing at you. Like, that's fine. And once your whole team rotates here, then your whole team can see me anyways, so no reason for me not to go forward swinging, etc. Right?
Okay.
Okay. That's going to be the big thing. I mean, we saw that. That was that's on your attack. You can do it like that. But you see some similar stuff on defense where you go, okay, I'm gonna let them get to here, and then I'm holding my corner, and then they got to here. And yeah, if it's just two tanks here or whatever, and the rest of their team is here, you're right. You are either going to have to hold it, or if your shield is going down too hard, you're going to have to back up to here, etc. But then you get fresh shield, and then once they've rotated their whole back line up so that all 6 of them can see you regardless, you don't keep going, let me tuck harder, let me tuck harder, let me tuck harder. You go, I've got 3/4 of my shield, let me push up and fight the tanks and swing into them. We're going to brawl this out now, etc. Because I don't want to be in this slowly retreating poke battle against a Sigma. The Sigma's going to win, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Like, it's totally fine to go, hey, I'm standing my ground here, still losing the shield battle. That's weird that I'm losing the shield battle when I'm standing here holding this and they've got, like, only a Sigma and a Reinhardt in front of me and the rest of their team is over here. It's weird that my team isn't crushing these guys. But if they're not, sure, I'll back up, etc., get enough shield back to get back to them, and now I'll push up again because now they will be further rotated in, and, I'm fighting their tanks, and I'm fighting all 6 of them, but all 6 of them are actually here. You don't want to push out here to fight all 6 of them because your team can't see the other 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that help you understand corners in general, but also point A, since I know that was a question coming into this?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Excellent. So I'm happy to do a few more minutes here. So do you have any questions that you'd like to know, either related to this game, related to the game in general, really, anything coaching wise, or, curiosity, meta, anything like that?
Okay, so obviously this was a diamond game. I think I was the only diamond in this game.
Okay.
So in a situation to where I know that my team like wouldn't be competent enough to understand my mentality, I will have to adapt to their play style and play the way they play, right? So in the situation where I have to play the corners, should I play more aggressive or that's heavily dependent on team comps?
Uh, if you're in a 5 stack and you're playing main tank, you can take over the comms, you can take over calling the rotations, you can take over calling commit, commit, commit. You can take over calling, okay, we're going to Valk Blade this fight. Okay, we're going to Zarya stand there. I'll bait them to pay attention to me as they walk past. I'll, poke with a fire strike, and then you grab them and we all in, etc. Like, you take over the comms. People will listen to you as the initiation tank, the engagement tank, if you take over the comms, the the majority of the time. And if you're in a stack, they definitely will. That said, let's pretend you're not in a stack. Let's pretend you just happen to be, the diamond in a plat game or something like that, etc. And, only 3 people are in comms, etc. Yeah, you have to adapt your playstyle to what's there to some degree, but Reinhardt's playstyle is not, I'm going to stand in the middle walking back and forth, which I'm not saying you're doing. Reinhardt is a more decisive tank than that, where it's nope, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Like, if Reinhardt doesn't get to swing his hammer, he's not Reinhardt. That's
Gotcha.
that's kind of where I'd go there. Okay.
So it's like as Reinhardt, I have to like either fully commit to pushing in or fully commit to get out. There's no in between.
Right. There is no in between. And if you find, like, hey, I have an Ashe and a McCree and a Zen and a BAP, or a Zen and a Mercy, so my team wants to play poke, that's fine. Find your way over to Orisa when you get a chance to swap heroes. That's sort of how that would go. I don't know if you play. I think you said you play main tanks in general, so
Yes.
yeah.
Um, and let's say if there wasn't a Zarya,
Sure.
would my playstyle change?
Um, Not overwhelmingly. There's some things where, you can't. Not overwhelmingly. Like, give me an example of what tank do you have instead? Do you have, like, a diva, because she can do some of the same protection? Do you have a ball, because in that case your ball tends to become your actual initiator, where, he'll turn their attention, etc., and you push in, etc. Like, he tends to be able to do that more than vice versa. You I mean, you can still do the initiation and let him try to go for assassinations, but no, not really. Like because, like again, give me an off tank and I can talk through it as an example, and I think you'll see not too much changes. So what off tank are you working with? A
Let's
ball,
say hog,
hog.
for example.
Okay, so no, not really, because you're still going to walk up there and you're still going to want to swing at them, and their Reinhardt doesn't want to swing back because he's going to get hooked if he does. You follow what I'm saying? Like you start running into that, and your hog is applying pressure for you potentially from with you going, I'm just throwing right clicks into the enemy Rein shield, etc. Now it's a little different if your hog goes and plays flank hog, where you're like, oh, okay, your hog's playing flank hog, etc. But you still mostly want to be getting up there to swing in their face because you want to be that distraction that then lets him peek and hit a hook on someone from the side, etc. So you, no, not overwhelmingly. You're just less durable if you don't have a Zarya.
Oh yeah, so like I can be aggressive, but not to the extent of like Zarya aggressive because I have that bubble necessary to keep me up.
Right. But that doesn't change too much because what it kind of is what you'd like to do is you'd like to go, hey, I'm going to swing at my opponents, and the first time I swing at them, I'm going to get a bubble and it's going to be grand. But once the fight starts to devolve, starts to break down, and when you don't have a Zarya, as a rule of thumb, if you're getting healed, if you're getting the pockets you'd expect from like an Anna, since let's pretend you have an Anna or a Moira, something like that, you kind of go, do I have armor? I'd like to take a swing. Do I not have armor? I would like to keep my shield up until I have armor. That sort of becomes a metric. Now, that is not a perfect metric. That is a very rule of thumb type thing. There are comps
Mhm.
that you absolutely can't. And also, nades and discords override it. If you are naded and discorded, you just don't swing. You just go, nope, I'm going to wait until this goes away, or if it's a discord, I'm going to try to get to cover to clear it. But if neither of those are in play, and you're not worried about being triple bashed, like, oh, if I swing, I'm going to be flashbang bashed, slept, etc. Yeah, it kind of becomes if I have armor, maybe I'll swing. If I don't, I don't. Again, you will adjust that based on the amount of incoming damage available on the other team, but that's sort of a basic guideline to start with and then play from.
Okay, I think that's all the questions I have for the most part.
Okay, cool. Then it's been good chatting with you. I think if you work on being a little more decisive one way or the other, and you can change your mind, but when you change your mind, you actually change your mind. It's not, well, I'm still sort of here holding contested or neutral space. It's, all the way in or all the way out, or into a point, recharge, into another point, recharge, into the enemy type thing. I think if you really work on internalizing that, you're going to see, okay, I can take these over a bit, and plat games, gold games, diamond games, doesn't matter. That's how you're going to be playing your Reinhardt. Cool. Okay. Then if there aren't any other questions, I think we can call it there. It's been good working with you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I much appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Uh, and then we've still got our schedule for Monday, was it?
Yes, correct. I'll send the payment tomorrow.
Cool. Sounds good. See you then.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you.
No problem.